In this video, we're going to identify the minimum point of a quadratic graph by completing the square. Now, we previously saw that if you have a quadratic expression in completed square form, this is completed square form, where we have a bracket squared with x plus or minus something in that bracket, and then we might be multiplying it by a number and adding a number at the end, then the turning point would be this. And notice how we're getting from this b and c to this turning point here. We're negating whatever number is after the x. So if this plus b, the x value, the turning point will be minus b. And whatever we're adding or subtracting after that square bracket, that will be the y value of your turning point. Now, what do we mean by turning point? Well, if I was to draw y is equal to x squared minus 8x plus 17, it's going to have a shape like this. And basically, we're trying to identify this minimum point here, where the y value is at its smallest. We're at the bottommost point of the graph. So what we need to do is take this equation and complete the square so that we can then get it in this form and just read off the turning point, the minimum point. Now, if we just copy out what we've got y equals x squared minus 8x plus 17. Now, do you remember the first step? Whatever the number is in front of the x, so the coefficient of the x term, you just halve that number. And that's the number that will go after the x in here. So if you halve the minus 8, it becomes minus 4. So you're going to get x minus 4, so that half number squared. And what do you do next? Do you remember that you square that number and throw away? So you square it and throw it away. Now, what is minus 4 squared? Well, minus 4 times minus 4 is positive 16. Negative times negative is positive. So we're going to throw away 16. So regardless of whether this number here is negative or positive, we're always going to subtract that number squared after. And the reason why we have that minus 16 is because if you were to expand out this squared bracket here, you get x squared minus 8x, which you do want, but you'd also get a plus 16 on the end, which we don't want, so we just throw away the 16. And then we still want that 17 on the end, so let's put the plus 17. And if you just simplify that, you get x minus 4 squared minus 16 plus 17 is plus 1. Now, once we've got it in completed square form, we saw here that whatever the number is after the x, we negate it to become the x value, the turning point. So the minus 4, we negate it to become positive 4. And then whatever the number is after the square bracket, you just use that as the y value. So the 1 here, you use as the y value in the turning point. So we get 4, 1. So this turning point here, the minimum point, is 4, 1. And we've done the first question. What about the second one here? We want to find the minimum point of the graph of equation y equals x squared plus 6x plus 11. So let's just copy it out again. And we need to complete the square first. So we first halve what number's on front of the x term. So the coefficient of x is 6, so we halve that to become 3. So we write open bracket x plus 3, so that half number squared. And then remember, we square that number and throw it away. So 3 squared is 9, we throw it away, but we still got that plus 11 on the end. So we simplify that, that becomes x plus 3 squared, and minus 9 plus 11 is plus 2. Now, as we said, we negate the number after the x, so that's going to become minus 3, and you use this number as it is, so you put 2 there, and that therefore is the minimum point of this quadratic graph. It's minus 3, 2, and we are done.